Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today we are going to discuss how to read Srila Prabhupada's books in such a way that it will give us the biggest benefit. And it really depends on our qualities. So we have this presentation today, which is called good student of the scriptures, the qualities of the good student of the scriptures. And this presentation will be based on this book, which was written by Gauranga Darshan Das, His Holiness Radhanath Swami's disciple. And this book is entitled The Art of Studying and Teaching Scriptures. So you can order this book on Amazon also, and I will post this link, which you can see on the screen. I will post this link in our chat also. Well, basically I can do it even now. No, it is another link, sorry. Okay, I will post it later on. So there are some qualities that are important for us to have these qualities in order to be successful in our attempts to study sacred scriptures, to study Shastra. So these qualities you can see on the screen, and today's session is divided in two parts. So you can see 10 qualities here and 5 qualities we're going to discuss today, and other last qualities we're going to discuss tomorrow. So we are going to start from devotion. Devotion, it is the most important quality, and it is important in such a way that someone can think that it is really important to be really intelligent from materialistic point of view if I want to understand the meaning, the essence of sacred scriptures. For that I have to study Sanskrit language, and for that I have to be extremely intelligent and all this stuff. But it is not so, because the most important quality is devotion, which is mentioned here in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, verse 24.313. These words were spoken by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva said, I may know, Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, may know, and Vyasadeva may know or may not know Srimad Bhagavatam. On the whole, Srimad Bhagavatam, the spotless Purana, can be learned only through devotional service, not by material intelligence, speculative methods, or imaginary commentaries, purports. So someone can think that if I am Sanskrit scholar, it can help me to understand this spiritual message.
Hare Krishna. तो मैं भी कुछ नेटवर्क इशू था, प्रॉब्लम हमको रिज्वाइन करेंगे दूसरे ओके, तो जब तक प्रभु जी हमें ज्वाइन नहीं करते हम थोड़ी देर कीर्तन कर लेते हैं। सो जस्ट
Hare Krishna. Sorry, some technical troubles. So, okay. So we're continuing to discuss the same subject matter. One moment. Okay. So in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Bhakti mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha, tatomam tattvato gyatva vishate tad anantaram. And the meaning of this verse is the same, that vishate tad anantaram, or this chance to enter the spiritual kingdom of Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, this chance is available only for those who are practicing devotional service. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So it is the question of our of what kind of intelligence we have. That's why there is one impediment on the path of devotional service. When one becomes very much intelligent, there is a chance to become proud because of that. And when one becomes proud, it works like impediment on the path of devotional service, because Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and Supreme Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they who are not different from each other, they don't like proud people. They don't like proud devotees, but they like this simplicity and humility. So we have this famous story which is mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met one brahmana, illiterate brahmana in Sri Rangam, and in Sri Rangam, this brahmana has got instruction from his spiritual master that you have to read Bhagavad Gita every day. And he was trying to read Bhagavad Gita every day, but because he was not educated enough, because of that he was constantly making mistakes when he was reading these Sanskrit verses. So people who were around, they were making fun from that brahmana. But this brahmana was always putting endeavors to read, just to read Bhagavad Gita, and he was trying to understand the meaning of Bhagavad Gita, and he was reading Bhagavad Gita because he has got such instruction from his spiritual master. So it is called simplicity. And when Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met that brahmana and he asked, what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita? What you have got? What kind of understanding have you got from reading Bhagavad Gita? He told that I'm really surprised and mesmerized that when I read this Bhagavad Gita, I understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, out of His mercy, He decided to act as a menial servant of His sincere devotee Arjuna, of His sincere devotee and friend. So I'm really impressed that He is great. He is great. He is all powerful, and so on. But anyway, he takes this position of servant. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have heard such conclusion from the lotus lips of that brahmana, he embraced that brahmana and he told him that actually you understood the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So the first quality when we are trying to understand Vaishnava sacred scriptures, Vaishnava Shastra, we should understand that Vaishnavism, it is about bhakti, it is about devotion. And one can understand devotion if he is a devotee, if he himself or she herself has some devotion in his or in her heart. It depends. And we can get this devotion in our hearts if we are practicing. Otherwise, it is not possible to understand anything. That's why we accept spiritual masters. Spiritual masters, they teach us how to serve Supreme Lord Krishna with love and devotion. So if we are in the process, in the practical process of practical devotional service, then we can succeed. We can succeed on this path of devotional service. The same way like this Brahmana from Sri Rangam, he was reading this Bhagavad Gita, and we cannot say that from a materialistic point of view, he was totally qualified. He didn't have sufficient material education. But the essence is that he took this instruction of his spiritual master very seriously. And if instruction of spiritual master is taken seriously, then it is just question of time and our endeavors and Krishna's mercy when we will succeed, when this devotion will be manifested in our hearts and in our actions. So we have just to get some instructions from spiritual master, and we have to stick to these instructions, and it will be our devotion, practical devotion. Devotion, it is not just emotion, and devotion, it is not just some kind of conception, mental conception, or it is not emotion. It is about our actions. It is about our endeavors when we are trying to follow instructions, orders of our spiritual master. It is the first quality which is important when we're trying to understand sacred scriptures. And then the next question is inquisitiveness. Inquisitiveness means we really have to be interested in sacred scriptures. We have this prescription that you devotees, you have to read Srila Prabhupada's books. And some people, they take this instruction formally. I have to do it, so I will be doing this willingly or unwillingly. But it is not sufficient just to do it formally. It is very important to be interested. What kind of spiritual message Supreme Lord Shri Krishna decided to give me today through the pages of these Srila Prabhupada's books? What is my message for today? Because it is my association with Supreme Lord. When I read these books, I'm trying to get this association. We can be lacking some association with people. Sometimes we can feel ourselves lonely, that there are no people around us, or we don't have such kind of association which exactly we want. But this kind of association with Srila Prabhupada and association with Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and Srila Vyasadev and so on, this association is always available. And it is only the question, are we interested to get this association or not? The same way, like for example, these sages from Naimisharanya forest, in the verse of Bhagavatam 1:18:55, which you can see on the screen, they tell to Sutta Goswami, they say, you are a learned and pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception, for we are anxious to receive such message. They are anxious, and Devahuti, she was anxious to get instructions from Kapila Dev, and Queen Kunti was anxious to get instructions from Lord Shri Krishna, And Maharaja Parikshit was anxious to get instructions from Shukadeva Goswami. And Srila Prabhupada, he was writing a letter to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur because he was anxious to know how I can serve you, what is the better way to serve you, dear Guru Maharaj. So this inquisitiveness is really important. And how we can get this inquisitiveness? We can get this inquisitiveness by meditating on those who have this inquisitiveness. We can read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Arjuna also was very inquisitive to know what to do on Kurukshetra battlefield. He was put in very difficult situation. Basically, he has no way out. He had to be inquisitive in that situation. So the same way, if inquisitiveness is there, if we really want to understand, and one more condition to be inquisitive is our ability to see good qualities in those to whom we ask our questions. The same way like these sages from Naimisharanya forest, they glorify Sutta Goswami. They say that Sutta Goswami is learned and pure devotee of the Lord. And the same way, if we see good qualities, if we have this, if we see this spiritual purity in the personality of those to whom we ask our questions, then naturally we become inspired to ask these questions. And naturally we become inquisitive. What kind of answer can give such and such pure devotee, such and such an exalted personality? So this B mentality, so-called B mentality, this ability to see good qualities in Vaishnavas makes us eligible to be inquisitive, to ask these Vaishnavas about spiritual life. And the next quality in our presentation, quality number 3, is good character. Good character is very important. And so this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:10:6, in this verse, qualities of a good disciple are described. And these qualities are going like this. The servant or disciple of the spiritual master should be free from false prestige, never considering himself to be the doer. He should be active and never lazy, and should give up all sense of proprietorship over the objects of the senses, including his wife, children, home, and society. He should be endowed with feelings of loving friendship toward the spiritual master, and should never become deviated or bewildered. The servant or disciple should always desire advancement in spiritual understanding, should not envy anyone, and should always avoid useless conversation. And someone can ask how to get these qualities, because it looks like if I don't have these qualities, better even not to aspire to become someone's disciple. Better not even to ask for pranama mantra or initiation before I develop these qualities. But no, this process goes in opposite way. We accept spiritual master, and he is exactly such a person who teaches us to act in such way. He teaches us to develop this quality. Yes, Mataji. Yes. So he he teaches us to develop these qualities. For example, how we can get these feelings of loving friendship toward the spiritual master. We can see what is our spiritual master's attitude to his spiritual master. For example, we accepted Srila Prabhupada's disciple as our Diksha Guru, our spiritual master. So we can see what is his attitude to our founder Acharya Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So in such way we can learn something from his example. If we are speaking about these relationships between spiritual master and disciple, it means if I'm a disciple, if I'm a student of spiritual science, it means I have to study something. So this verse 11:10:6 gives us understanding what kind of knowledge, skills, and qualities should be developed. Because this word combination, guru-disciple relationship, and what is the content? What is the content of this word combination? What is the content of these relationships? The content is described in this verse and in many other verses in our Srila Prabhupada's books. And we're going to the next verse where Narada Muni, he describes his childhood. And he says about his qualities that helped him to succeed in spiritual life. It is verse 1:5-24. Narada Muni said, although they were impartial by nature, they means Bhaktivedantas means sages who were living in his mother's house for some time because of the rainy season. They were sitting in this place and they were studying Shastra. They were studying sacred scriptures. So Narada Muni said, also they were impartial by nature. Those followers of the Vedanta blessed me with their causeless mercy. As far as I was concerned, I was self-controlled and had no attachment to sports, yes, even though I was a boy. In addition, I was not naughty and didn't speak more than required. So this sense control and freedom from useless attachments is really important, and some people, they really free from these things. They have these qualities from childhood because they were practicing devotional service in their past lives, and for some people it is more difficult. But anyway, to be self-controlled, to be focused, not to be blah 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 person, it is really important in spiritual life, because especially when we start our spiritual life, it is really important, it is more important to listen than to speak, to listen and to imbibe. And sometimes we ask questions, but it is really much more important, because what we can speak about, usually we can speak about our materialistic experience only. Experience of materialistic life, is it relevant to this situation when we are trying to progress spiritually? We should get spiritual understanding. Materialistic understanding we already have, but materialistic understanding doesn't help much in spiritual progress. So in that way, especially when we start our spiritual life and when we continue also with this spiritual life, it is really important to have this skill of attentive listening, this skill to be focused, to be concentrated, and to be self-controlled. And Narada Muni succeeded in spiritual life because of these qualities. And the next quality, which is important when we're trying to read Srila Prabhupada's books, it is the quality of gratitude. Gratitude. We should be grateful that Srila Prabhupada took this austerity to write and to translate these books every night. Every night he was waking up very, very early in the night, and he was dictating these books. And Prithu Maharaj, in this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 4:22-47, he explains that no one can repay to his spiritual master. We cannot repay our spiritual master. We cannot repay Srila Prabhupada for his literary work, for his these books that he has written. And Prithu Maharaj in this verse he says, how can such persons who have rendered unlimited service by explaining the path of self-realization in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and those explanations are given for our enlightenment with complete conviction and Vedic evidence, be repaid except by folded palms containing water for their satisfaction? Such great personalities can be satisfied only by their own activities, which are distributed amongst human society out of their unlimited mercy. Chinakya Pandit also says that even if someone explained us meaning of one letter, not just one word, but just one letter of sacred scriptures, in this case, so much mercy is given to us that we cannot repay to such person, even if we will give him the treasures and wealth of the whole world. It cannot be repaid because this spiritual knowledge is matchless knowledge, very valuable knowledge. No one can repay. But anyway, our acharyas, they say that there is one way when we cannot say that we are able to repay, but when we do sincere attempts to repay, it is prescribed to do these attempts to repay with understanding, clear understanding that we cannot repay, but anyway we should try to repay. And how we can repay? We can repay by sharing this spiritual taste, this inspiration, this spiritual knowledge with others. It is prescribed by our 6 Goswamis. Knowledge is given, mercy is given, so you spread it further. It is described. And it is the way how we can express our gratitude to spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. That's why it is important when we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we read these books not just for ourselves. It is very important. If you take notes, you can write it down. We read these books not just for ourselves, for our own benefit. We read these books with understanding that after some time we're going to share this knowledge with others. And it means that now when I read this book, it is not only for myself, it is also for benefit of other people. And the more people we will give this knowledge and taste and understanding, the more benefit we will get. And the more people will be involved in this Krishna Katha, the better it will be. So gratitude, it is about, again, it is not just emotion, it is not just mental conception, again, it is about activities that we are doing. And the next 2 qualities, before we are going to finish today's session and take your questions. The last quality for today is humility and faith. Humility and faith. It is also quite important to have faith in the words of spiritual master and in the words of sacred scriptures. And humility means one should be when someone is before his spiritual master, he should take position that he is full number one. This position to be full number, it is not prescribed to be full number one. It is just prescribed to feel oneself like fool number one. It is big difference. It is not prescribed to act like a fool, but it is prescribed to have such feeling that I can be highly educated from materialistic point of view, but this knowledge is useless when we are trying to understand some spiritual subject matters. That's why we approach spiritual master with this humility, first of all, that I am fool number one, and with faith. Faith means I have faith, I'm convinced that it is exactly a person who can help me, who has this understanding, knowledge, taste, qualities, and other things that I'm missing, but he has. And Krishna, he says in this verse of Bhagavad Gita, a faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So one has to dedicate himself to transcendental knowledge. It means to have faith in transcendental knowledge. And there is purport to this verse where Srila Prabhupada explains the meaning of faith. What does it mean to have faith in spiritual knowledge? Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness he can attain the highest perfection. So it is the definition of faith. It is the definition of faith. When we are convinced that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness we can attain the highest perfection. From practical point of view, it means that devotional service and devotional activities becomes priority number one in one's life. If someone is really convinced that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness I can attain the highest perfection, then naturally these activities in Krishna consciousness will become priority number one in one's life. And it means that there will be determination in one's heart to dedicate time, energy, attention, material resources, speech, intelligence, body, to involve all this in devotional service. And of course, there are devotees who are engaged 24 hours in devotional service, and there are those who have some social obligations. The situations can be different situations can be there, but anyway, the very determination to be engaged in devotional service as much as I can in my particular situation. This devotion is very important. So we can meditate, we can think how I can be more engaged in these spiritual activities and how I can spiritualize those activities that I'm practicing, that I'm doing now. And it doesn't mean that it is not prescribed to neglect social obligations. It is not prescribed. It is just about particular attitude that Krishna consciousness is the most important activity and priority number one in my life. Even when Srila Prabhupada was householder, when he was family man, he always was meditating on his spiritual master's instruction that there should be preaching of Krishna consciousness all over the world in English language. And he was preparing himself for this great mission, and because he ultimately prepared himself and he accomplished this mission, that's why we're sitting here together in this Zoom session and we're discussing this subject matter, how to read these books. We're discussing this. This faith is attained by discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart from all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. So, dear friends, that's all for today. Thank you for your attention. Hare Krishna. And if you have some questions, please ask these questions.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful session. तो आप में से किन्हीं के भी कोई क्वेश्चंस हैं तो आप प्रभु से पूछ सकते हैं. आप चैट बॉक्स में टाइप कर सकते हैं और फिर हम प्रभु जी को कन्वे करेंगे. और आप हैंड रेज भी कर सकते हैं अगर आपको क्वेश्चन. Okay, so
Okay.
Prabhuji, Mataji have a question. Gaurani Mataji.
Okay. You mean a question in the chat, right?
Yes.
Although we have faith on Harinam, still we aren't able to chant sincerely or devotionally. It is question of practice, just continue to chant. Very simple answer. It is just a question, again, it is question of three things: of time, of our endeavors, and of Krishna's mercy. So after some time, this sincerity and devotion will be there. You can read Nectar of Instruction, verse number 3, where qualities that are beneficial for spiritual advancement are described. Verse number 3 of Nectar of Instruction. Utsaha nishchaya daryat. Utsaha nishchaya daryat means utsaha means enthusiasm, and nishchaya means determination, and daryat means tolerance, patience. Patience means I should understand that Krishna consciousness in my mind, in my heart, develops gradually. It doesn't happen in 1 week or in 1 month. It takes years and decades and lives. So we should just continue with this process and be happy in the process itself. We should learn how to be happy and satisfied when we didn't achieve final destination. We are in the on the way. But anyway, this process, when we are on the way, we should be satisfied with what we have, and we should be hankering, aspiring for highest spiritual advancement. Whatever we have now, it is also better than was before, right? And but anyway, we are on the way. It is the question of time when we will become better devotees. Chant Hare Krishna and be better, as they say, right? Chant Hare Krishna and be better.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
How to? Yeah.
Prabhuji, Rekha Mataji raised her hand. So
Yes, please, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandvat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the insightful session. Prabhuji, this question earlier also I had, and again I wanted to check. Like we are in the spiritual journey, but then we have social obligations. We also are chanting, but I think we are not able. When I say we, I'm actually including myself. We're not able to balance, and somewhere in this social obligation, though I'm not feeling so good about the things what we have to do. I'm forced to do all those things with regard to job and commitments and so many other things. But still, no, what I mean to say is that at the level of advancement, how much it has to be, I feel that it's not happening that well, in spite of knowing everything. So how to go about this, Prabhuji? If at all you can just help me out.
Yes, of course, it is a typical challenge for any devotee to balance between his sadhana and different social obligations. It is challenge. Different advices can be given. For example, one of the advices what one can give is to have association with those who succeeded in this process of balancing between these two. So we have to know those devotees in our community, or if we are speaking about Delhi, we have how many, 15 or 17 temples, and we have many communities, so we can have association of different devotees from different communities, and we can get their experience. We can ask these devotees, we can ask the question, how do they balance? And we can get some practical tips from them. And what is the most important, that this time when we chant holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This time should be really reserved for Krishna only. It should be particular attitude to our chanting, that these 2 hours or 2 hours and a half or 3 hours, other things I really postpone. It is shifted. This time is for Krishna only. Krishna is so great personality that he really deserves our total attention, and other things can wait. Also, what I can say, even if sometimes we have to compromise with our sadhana or with our attentiveness when we chant holy names. For example, typical situation, a new family, and they have got newborn child, and Mataji has to take care of this child. And it means she has to have an eye on this child 24 hours, and it means that mind is at least two-branched, one eye on a child and another eye on chanting or on Krishna or other things. And this eyes goes like this. So what to do? Well, in some cases we have to compromise, because we should be serious. We should be serious in our spiritual life, but without fanaticism. It means children should not be abandoned. They should not feel that they are abandoned. Otherwise, when they will grow up, likely they will not take Krishna consciousness, because they will be remembering that I was neglected because my parents were so much Krishna conscious that they were not conscious of me at all. So yes, there is a need of some kind of intelligence and practical experience to understand how to balance. And also, and Priyanka Kansal is asking why not translating in Hindi. Because we don't have translator. Very simple answer. That's why. Hope that you understand what I'm saying. If you understand, please write in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. And but anyway, this session is quite short, 45 minutes. That's why if we arrange the translation, it means we will have to make this session even shorter. It means I can say less, just because translation takes time. Also, we should understand that this process, when we're trying to balance between material dimension of our life and spiritual dimension of our life, it is like the situation when someone is trying to walk on the rope, and on the how to say, on the height, he's trying to walk on the rope, and he has this stick to balance. You know, there are some people who are experts in this kind of activities, that they can cross from the roof of one house to the roof of another house on the rope, just by balancing and using this stick. So this process of balancing is dynamic process, because sometimes he has to to turn this stick on the left side. Sometimes he has to turn this stick on the right side. The same way, when we are speaking about our attempts to balance between material and spiritual, it is not that we can find a solution which will always work. It is the process of balancing means the process of awareness when we are monitoring our life and when we are able to see here and now what about yesterday, what about today, what is going to happen tomorrow, and what is my balance for this particular 24 hours. And do I have to compromise today or tomorrow? Or if I, for example, compromise, I have no way out, I have to compromise today, then what kind of compensation, spiritual compensation, I can arrange for tomorrow? Maybe tomorrow I can chant more rounds, or I can read more books in such way. Because yes, it is dynamic process. We have to feel when we become spiritually weak, because we have to compromise with something, and when we become more powerful from spiritual point of view, when we are attentive to our relatives, and when we are not we are not attentive enough to them. So it is dynamic process, like this person on the rope. He is trying to balance, he is trying not to fall down, and he is trying to walk on this rope. So he is balancing using this stick. The same way, it is not that you can get one-time solution. It is particular type of consciousness when we are just attentive to the details, when we're trying to be aware what's going on in your life. Okay, so and we have two more questions in the chat. One question is about how to get rid of envy, and another one is about sensual thoughts, and there is something written in Hindi. Gaurang Vats, can you translate? Prabhuji routine na hibanta kichka. What does it mean?
Prabhuji, Mataji wanted to ask that she is unable to make the routine proper. She is unable to be consistent in bhakti. So that's why.
So I'm saying, you don't worry too much about this. If you just begin your spiritual life, it is natural that we are not fixed. The most important is to have the desire to become stable, to become fixed, and to continue with this process. And then this stability will come, but it takes time. So Utsaha Nishchaya Daryat, read Nectar of Instruction, verse number 3, and practice, and everything will come after some time. One more question. Aishwarya, nice name, Aishwarya. I think I'm like a stone. I hear the lectures. Sometimes I understand the language of the speaker. Means sometimes I'm understandable, sometimes I'm not, right? Or what he is trying to explain, but I think it doesn't get really into my head or habit, even don't remember what's being explained. What can be done? Prabhuji, what can be done? Well, we have so many speakers in ISKCON. If you don't understand someone, maybe you can listen to another speaker. It is also a question of choice. We can grasp understanding from someone, and from some people we cannot grasp, because any person has his qualities. Everyone is a person, and in some cases this chemistry doesn't work. This exchange doesn't work. In some case, when the spiritual message is presented by someone, sometimes really we cannot grasp. well, you can search for other speakers also, for those who inspire. And it is not just the question of getting knowledge, because it is not about to accumulate knowledge. It is about transformation of our heart. That's why you are asking. I think it doesn't gets really into my head. There should not be such meditation that I want to fill my head with new knowledge. It is not about head. It is about heart. It is about my attitude to life, my attitude to devotees, my attitude to holy name, and other things. It is not about accumulating knowledge. We should just observe what is devotees' attitude to different things, and what are their actions regarding different situations. And in such way, the most important thing is to have a desire to change my heart. The most important thing is to have desire to become like them, to become a devotee, to become a person to whom Krishna is the dearest one, and to become a person who is dear to Krishna. And this desire one can get if he listens to self-realized souls. Yeah. Basically, we should listen to any ISKCON devotee who is in good spiritual state. It is not that we are going to listen Uttamadhikaris only. Not so many Uttamadhikaris are on this planet. But anyway, we should understand that if someone is really exalted, then of course we can get more from those who are more exalted. It is natural. But at the same time, we should not neglect other speakers. And if someone is exalted, then he is able to show by his own example and by his own attitude that it is really nice and it is really important to become dear to Krishna and to practice devotional service and other things. Just by listening with, again, I come back to my presentation, by listening those people, those devotees with humility, that I don't have these qualities, but I want to get these qualities. I'm zero and they are something. Humility and faith that these people, they can help me. This conviction, these people, they can help me. If this attitude is there, and if speaker is really qualified, spiritually qualified, then again, it is the question of three things. Question of time, question of our endeavors, and question of Krishna's mercy. When this flower will blossom, it is the question of these three things. That's why tolerance, patience is really important. Don't worry, just continue to follow this process. So many questions we have today, OMG. Okay, let's come back to the question about how to get rid of envy. How to get rid of envy. You see, there is a law of karma. If someone has particular qualities, or he has particular wealth, or he is famous, or he has particular facilities which we don't have, it means he already put some endeavors in this life or in previous lives. But materialistic people, why they are envy? Usually, typically materialistic people, they are envious to others. Why? Because they don't understand that those who have got some facilities, they already have paid the price for that. And because we remember only this lifetime, we don't remember our past lives. That's why in the mind of materialistic person, there is such idea that it is not about justice, that when someone has everything and I have a little. But justice is there, law of karma is there, and the price is already was paid previously. So And the question was how to get rid of envy. So the solution is that one should understand that everything has its price in this world. And if I'm envious to someone, if I want to have someone's qualities, or if I want to have someone's facilities, I should just work hard for that. I should just be, I should just deserve this. And well, and there are some different karma mimamsi, karma kandis, prescription what to do in order to become famous or in order to become rich in next life and so on and so on. But this path of bhakti is not about karma kanda. It is not about to get facilities and wealth of this world. It is about to get out from this world and to go to spiritual planet and to serve Krishna. So even if someone has some facilities that we don't have, Srila Prabhupada, he gives the analogy, he explains that this material world is like a prison, and in this prison there are different kinds of rooms where prisoners are living, and there are first-class rooms with TV and AC and other things. And there are rooms where 100 of people are living together and they have to tolerate each other. So the same way, we are living in this material world, and some people, they have more facilities, they have more comfort in this life, and some people, they don't have comfort at all. But anyway, we are not about to link our future with this material world. We are about spiritual world. That's why it is recommended that you just accept your karma, you tolerate your karma, tolerate bad karma and tolerate good karma also. There is no good karma in the sense that even good karma is the reason for someone to take birth again in material world and to enjoy this so-called good karma. But anyway, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, it is for everyone. So how to get rid of envy? If you want to get something, just be ready to pay price. Very simple. It is not that someone has got some qualities or facilities just by chance. Everything has its reason, and we should be conscious about this. It is basics of Bhagavad Gita, it is basics of Vedic knowledge, that there is law of karma. Everyone has something, not just without any reasons. There is always a reason. And what do we have in our chat? So we have 2 more questions. What about time? What about time? What should we do?
There is no limitation of time from our side.
Oh, very nice, very nice. How can one be abstained from sensual thoughts which drag us down from spirituality? Read Nectar of Instruction, verse number 1. Verse number 1 of Nectar of Instruction. Buy this book, go to ISKCON temple, buy this book, Nectar of Instruction, and it is written here that the solution is that we should engage our senses in devotional service. We cannot avoid to use our eyes, our ears, and other things, but we can use it in a devotional service. For example, everyone has to take some food. So what we are doing, we are spiritualizing this process. We are taking prasadam only. Or, for example, we have these eyes, and some people, they have habit to watch pornography every evening. And some people, they have a habit to get deity's darshan of the deity every morning. So the same eyes, but how do we use these eyes? That is the question. So the same way, different activities of our senses we can spiritualize. And if we are determined in this process to engage our senses in spiritual activities, then we will get benefit. And how to be not to be dragged down from spirituality. For that, one has to develop so-called higher taste. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinach rasovarjam rasopiasya param drishtva nivartate. It is verse from second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where it is said that if you have some attachments, materialistic attachments, and even if you are trying externally to avoid any contact with the object of your attachment, anyway, this attachment is still there, but it is in your mind. Still it is in your mind, you have these thoughts, but you can become free from these thoughts and from this attachment by developing, attaining higher taste. Higher taste means that we should become attached to something another. And in the first verse of Nectar of Instruction, it is written what should we become attached to. We should become attached to prasadam, to Hare Krishna Mahamantra, to Kirtan, to deities, to Vaishnava association. And in such way, if our senses are engaged in this process, then gradually attachment will be developed also. And also these spiritual activities, they purify our senses. Our senses becomes purified by spiritual activities, and the same senses becomes contaminated by materialistic activities. Contamination means that these senses, they become habituated to be in contact with material objects, and the result of that is that samsaric existence will go on and go on, because this experience, because we accumulate this experience of experiencing different materialistic tastes. Yes. So we should try to engage ourselves in devotional service. The more the better. The more the better. We should try to use the same senses in devotional service. And we have these facilities. We have Zoom, we have YouTube. We can get darshan of any ISKCON deity all around the world. Many temples in US, in India, in Europe, they broadcast this darshan of their deities. We can listen these Srimad Bhagavatam classes from different temples. We can see different deities. All these solutions, all these facilities are there. And the last question from Divya Sharma. Two questions from Shailendra Narayan. Shailendra Narayan. It is written here: chanting is the essence, so why to read? All problem can be removed by chanting. Srila Prabhupada, he was answering on these question that you are asking why to read. He was answering that we are reading to get inspiration to chant, because we have to have this philosophical understanding why we are chanting and who is this Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, why we are chanting, why we dedicate our time to this, because we can use the same time for other activities. Why it is so important to chant holy names? Who is Krishna? What are his activities? What is his form? What are his qualities? So to get this knowledge and to get this inspiration, we read these books and then we chant. So Srila Prabhupada told that we should do both things. It is not that we can practice just one thing only. Divya Sharma is asking, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, how to differentiate between motivation from Maya or Krishna if the particulars cannot be judged from their reaction to positive spiritual growth ahead in time in both cases. Are we qualified, or how can we qualify to judge our actions through Guru Sadhu Shastra test? Well, as far as I understood the question, Mataji, Divya Sharma means Mataji, right? Mataji. Mataji is asking that how we can understand what is our motivation, yeah? What is our motivation and how we can judge our actions. Means, is my motivation proper? Is my motivation spiritual? Or my motivation is wrong motivation? Well, it is quite typical that especially when we start our spiritual life, when we begin our spiritual life, it is quite typical that it is difficult for us to differentiate what are our motives. This ability to differentiate, it belongs to this level of spiritual advancement, which is called anartha nivriti. Anartha nivriti. There is Shraddha, then Sadhusanga, then Bhajana Kriya, then Anartha nivriti. Anartha nivriti means purification from undesirable qualities, and Anartha nivriti means the ability of practitioner to see what are tendencies in my heart and to see the motives and to see how it goes, to see the algorithms in our mind and in our heart, how it goes, and is it proper or not. And before Anartha nivriti stage, Bhajana Kriya stage goes, and Bhajana Kriya stage starts from the moment when we take initiation from spiritual master. So technically speaking, there is no Bhajana Kriya without spiritual master. We prepare ourselves to accept spiritual master, then we accept him, then we go through these processes of Bhajana Kriya and Anartha nivriti, means we're trying to be stable in our practice of devotional service, and simultaneously we are able to see what's going on in our heart and in our mind. So it takes some time. It can take 7 years or 10 years or even more of spiritual life when one is able to see his motives more or less clearly. But before that, anyway, one is able to see the motive of his action, but this option is available usually, is available when the action is done. Means I did something, and after this I'm able to see, post factum, I'm able to see that actually I did it because I wanted some honor from others, for example. I did something. In the process, when I was doing this, I was not able to understand. But when it is done, then after this, I'm able to see. It is quite normal that we are able to see this after doing. It means that next time, before we are doing something, we can try to tune ourselves. That previously I did something with wrong motivation. Let me try to satisfy spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada with my action now. And for that we can use our prayers, Om Agyanati Mirandasya, Gyananjana Shalakaya. We can pray to spiritual master, we can pray to Srila Prabhupada, we can ask them to make us good instrument in their hands. And so in such way, even if we are able to see our own motivation post factum, anyway, our next action should be better. Our next action should be better. The same way like Buddha, Gautama Buddha, he told once, Buddha, he is avatar of Krishna. Jayadev Goswami in Dasha Avatara Stotra, he says that Buddha is avatar of Krishna. So Buddha, he was saying that a wise man is one who doesn't repeat the same mistake twice. So you did something, you understood that it was wrong, so just next time try to do better. That's all. It works like this. And of course, we should be under guidance of senior devotees. Actually, the answer on this question should be started from this statement that we should be under guidance of senior devotees, and these senior devotees will help us to judge our actions through Guru Sadhu Shastra, if they are qualified also, because there are senior devotees and there are old devotees, and in both cases, two categories of devotees. In both cases, these devotees, it is about devotees who are in ISKCON for a long time, old devotees and senior devotees. But some people, they just remain old devotees. So also one should differentiate, because it is not that everyone who is here in ISKCON for a long time is able to help. So if one is senior devotee, not just old devotee, and when we are approaching to him, and if he is qualified, then he can help us to judge. Because usually those who are senior, they know Shastra better, and they know Srila Prabhupada's instructions better than we know. Hare Krishna. Okay, looks like that's all. All questions are covered. Thank you very much for your attention. And we will meet, we will have next meeting tomorrow morning, the same time, 7 o'clock. And we will discuss the next 5 qualities that are important to read Srila Prabhupada's books and to learn Srila Prabhupada's books. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving your association. So we will thank Prabhuji by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
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 Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Bo. Oh, child is also engaged in Harinam. It is so nice. Okay, Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Krishna.
तो थैंक यू डिवोटीज आपको भी। और just a minute. और कुछ अनाउंसमेंट है, जैसे कि हमारा इवनिंग में एक लेक्चर होने वाला है 8 PM पे, जिसमें हम हिज ग्रेस पार्थ प्राण प्रभु जी का संग लेंगे, जो कि कुक हैं हिज होलीनेस गोपाल कृष्ण गोसाई महाराज के। तो हम उनके पास टाइम्स भी कुछ श्रवण कर पाएंगे, उनका संग ले पाएंगे। तो आप जरूर से उस सेशन को ज्वाइन कीजिएगा, मिस मत कीजिएगा इस सेशन को। ये कुछ अनाउंसमेंट थी, और धन्यवाद आप सभी का अपना संग देने के लिए। और कल भी आप हमारे साथ बने रहिएगा, क्योंकि कल हमारा इसका 4th पार्ट है कि डेवलपिंग टेस्ट फॉर रीडिंग स्क्रिप्चर्स का। तो कल प्रभु जी 5 क्वालिटीज और चर्चा करेंगे, तो आप कल भी हमारे साथ हमें अपना संग दीजिएगा। तो हम आज का सेशन यहीं पे विराम करते हैं। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की
जय
Jai.
श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। समवेत और भक्त वृंद की
जय।
निताय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि
हरि
Hare Hare
थैंक यू
Bol.
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्णा।
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Pranam.